Hey everyone, it's Laura. Today my video is on how I use AI, specifically ChatGPT, to help with homework or educational support. My channel is about helping busy moms, especially like me, find tools and tricks, ways to make your life a little bit easier. And AI might seem scary for some, but I find it to be just a very helpful tool to help me make my day a little bit better. ChatGPT is great to help with homework for your little ones or just general educational type things that you might need as a busy mom. My grandchildren get homework questions and they are trying to explain something, or I'm reading the instructions and I'm like, that's not how I learned to do this in school. So ChatGPT has been a good resource when they are over here spending the night and need some help with homework. Because they just don't do things the way that they used to back when I was in elementary school. It's great also for explaining complex subjects, regardless of whether it's homework or just something that you are trying to do. It's a great way to get help with those kinds of things. Also great for giving study tips and preparing for parent conferences. So what we're going to do is go ahead and jump over to my ChatGPT account. We're going to just copy my prompts here that I had on the first screen, and we'll go ahead and put them in. So the first one is, can you help explain my fourth grader's math homework? The question says, find the area of a rectangle that is 8 inches long and 3 inches wide. So if you're like me and you were in school a long time ago, you might need help answering these kinds of questions. I just paste it into ChatGPT. If you were doing it obviously home, you just type in what you want. You'll remember I mentioned before you can also dictate to it. I haven't put these prompts in yet, so let's see what the answer is. So it reiterates the question and it then gives a step-by-step explanation of what to do. So first it says, what is area? Area is the amount of space inside a shape, like how much space a rug covers on the floor. And then you multiply the length by the width. So area equals length times width. I love that it gives step-by-step instructions, so it makes it easy for moms, dads, any adults, grandparents to be able to help with these types of projects. It shows length is 8 inches, width is 3 inches, 8 times 3 is 24. So the answer is 24 square inches. Now, of course, you don't want to give your child the answers. What you want to do, though, is learn the steps to do it and then be able to show your child and demonstrate so that they can do the multiplication. So we never want to use AI to cheat on homework, but it is a great way to help explain things that are more complex. That was an easy example. So let's go ahead and pop over here and do the next one. And if you remember, you can continue with conversations. You can go in and tweak things or ask more questions. The next question that I prepared is, explain the water cycle to my fifth grader in simple terms. So let's see what we have here. The water cycle, nature's way of recycling water. And then it explains the water cycle is how water moves around the earth, a never-ending loop. It has 4 main parts, and then it goes into the parts. And I like the way that it breaks it down. It just makes it visually more appealing to me. And you can explain each section. You can follow up with your child and ask if they have questions, that sort of stuff. So the first part is evaporation. The second part is condensation. The third part is precipitation. And then the fourth is collection. And then it gives a little summary. So it's a very simple way of explaining. And that's what I like. When you're giving it prompts, if you say, explain it as if I were a child, it will explain it to you in terms that are much more simple. And that's one of the things that I really like. So let's look at another prompt that you may be using. This one is relevant to me today, and it's about my daughter going to college. So I said, what are some fun and effective study tips for my daughter who is getting ready to go to college? I'm concerned because she will no longer have me there for reminders. Now, my daughter is absolutely awesome. I always tell a story of her when she was in kindergarten and she came home and she was arguing with me about doing her homework. And I said, Malena, I am not going to argue with a kindergartner about doing homework. Go sit down and do your homework. And after that point, I think we had a very clear understanding of what the expectations were, and she's been great ever since, thank goodness. So I don't have to remind her of things. But college is a whole different level, and she's going to have a whole different kind of freedom there, and a lot of new outside influences that she doesn't have at home. I trust her, but I am still a little nervous. Moms are that way. So the question was how to help, and here comes Oreo again. You're always coming to my videos. Set goals the smart way. So use the rule of 3. Each week, set 3 main academic goals, finish a paper, study 2 chapters, etc. Break big tasks into mini tasks. Instead of studying for a biology exam, try review flashcards for 20 minutes or rewatch lecture number 2. So those are great ideas. We can tweak this for our daily tasks around the house too. Number 2, use a visual planner or app such as Google Calendar or Notion. They're great tools. She can color code classes, exams, social stuff, etc. to keep balance. Set alerts 10 minutes before class, a day before deadlines, etc. Very good ideas. The Pomodoro technique, fun and effective. Study for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. After 4 rounds, take a longer 20-minute break. Use apps like Focus Keeper or Forest, which grows a tree the longer she stays focused. That sounds very interesting. One of the things that I really love about AI is all of the new stuff that I learn, and I will be sharing these things with you. We'll try it here today. We'll look up Focus Keeper and see what that is in case you don't know, because I don't know that one. I love learning about new ways to make my life easier, quicker, smoother, less hassle. Number 4, make studying interactive. Teach it out loud. If she can teach it, she knows it. That's a great idea. Study guides, even online. Make it social and keep her accountable. Use Quizlet Anki. I'm not sure of that one. Probably not saying it right. Notion flashcards. Number 5, create a study spot ritual. So find a cozy, consistent place that she feels good to study, and then make that her spot. She can light a candle, of course, if she's in her dorm room. I don't think the library would allow that. Don't forget these essentials. Sleep matters more than cramming. Move daily. Walks, yoga, stretching boosts brain power. Eat smart. Have snacks on hand that actually help. Nuts, fruit, not just coffee and chips. So great ideas. And then a bonus, a little from you. Write her a few open win letters, like open when you feel overwhelmed or open when you ace your first exam. Surprise check-ins, texts, funny gifts, I believe in you, memes, that sort of stuff can provide comfort. I love those ideas. That's really great. And I didn't even ask Chat to give me that. If you watched my first video, and I will link that here at the end, but I talk about how the more you use it, it will remember you and the types of things that you talk to it about. And I talk to it a lot about using it in my life and having a daughter and grandchildren and that sort of stuff, and my side hustles and my business. It's great that it remembers. And remember, you can go back and ask more questions. So what I'm going to do is come back up here and look at, let's ask about Focus Keeper. So can you tell me more about Focus Keeper? Because hey, I might need that myself. I really didn't want to make this video today. I was tired. I maybe needed a little focus. Okay, so sometimes you'll see that ChatGPT is giving you 2 responses to choose from. It's trying to determine which people like. I'm just going to go over here and look at response number 1. They basically have the same information in there. It says, what is Focus Keeper? It's a simple yet powerful Pomodoro timer app available on Android or Apple that helps users break into focused intervals and track productivity. And then it gives you the key features: defaults to 25-minute focus time, custom timers, task tracking, analytics, sound options, ADHD friendly. Interesting. And then why it works. So it tells you more about that. And then what real users say. So that's interesting. It's giving some ratings there. So I think that's cool. And then just things to know. Ticking or sounds can distract. No built-in app or website blocking, so that could be an issue for some. and then limited advanced features for the free version. Chat knows that I like to find free things. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that I like free stuff and I like to use free resources and ways to make money. So please check out my channel and subscribe. I hope you will find some good videos there. And then it further goes on to say how my daughter can use it, and then tips for your transition. Encourage her to set daily goals in the app with built-in reminders and history tracking. Great, that's fantastic. Okay, let's pop over to the final question. I have some concerns about my grandson's retention, and he has mentioned kids being mean at school. Can you help me prepare for a parent-teacher conference? This is a great way to get yourself focused, make sure that you don't forget anything that you want to ask. So, step one, gather your concerns. It gives you examples there, which is something that I also like. Is he struggling to understand grade level material? Does he forget things quickly after learning them? Is homework or classwork taking unusually long? Are you seeing signs of frustration, avoidance, or low confidence? So these are great questions to help you narrow in, because if you're not a teacher yourself, you may not exactly know how to describe everything that could be happening with your child. So this is a really great tool to help you start thinking like that educator, to be able to narrow down where the problem might be. It could be something like not being able to see very well. So those are the kinds of things. And this chat has given us some great questions to start with. Social and emotional concerns. So we talked about potential bullying there, kids being mean. What context? Is it name calling, exclusion? Do they not want to invite him to games? That sort of stuff. This is a fictitious situation, but those are definitely some concerns that happen for parents with young children. Has there been behavior changes, withdrawn, anxious, avoiding school? Is this new or is it ongoing? Do you suspect bullying or more general social difficulties? And then write down specific examples, because the teacher will need that when they're trying to identify what is happening. And then step two, what to ask the teacher. How is he performing compared to grade level expectations? Is he able to focus and follow directions? Are there signs of learning difficulty? Do you see patterns where he struggles more, like reading or writing? How does he participate? Is he confident or does he hesitate? Would tutoring, IEP screening, or extra support be appropriate? So these are, again, wonderful questions that came to us in a second after we put in the prompt, that can really help you get some answers for your child when you have concerns about them in school. And then it says bonus tip. If you think he might need an evaluation, you can ask, what steps do we take if we'd like to explore possible learning challenges? And then it goes on to do the social emotional questions. Have you noticed any social struggles or conflict with peers? So on and so forth. And then step three, prepare to share. So at home, we've noticed he's been, for example, saying kids are mean. He seems discouraged. So you'll want to give specific examples that will help. Step four, what to bring. A short list of concerns and questions, examples, a calm, collaborative tone. You don't want to go in with an angry voice and that sort of stuff. Let's start out calmly. I'm a Scorpio, so I can get a little riled up, but it's always best to start calmly. I'm learning this in my old age. I have practiced it for a long time, so I'm pretty good now, unless I'm driving in the car. That's a different story. And then step five, after the meeting, take notes during the meeting, ask about follow-up and actions and timelines, and then make sure you actually follow up. Teachers are busy, so you don't want this to fall through the cracks. And then it says, do you want a template? I can help you write a short message or agenda to share with the teacher in advance. Just let me know. So let's ask, what would a template look like? As you can see, ChatGPT put together a template for us to use, written to the teacher, and so on and so forth, with all those points. Then you can download it or copy and paste it and put it into your printer and have it ready to go. So that's it for today's video on how I use ChatGPT to help with educational related things. Please comment in the box below to let me know if you're using ChatGPT in this way or another way. I have come up with 10 different ways to use ChatGPT. And I don't know which one I'm going to record next, but I do have another one that I will be recording. So please share and comment, and thanks so much for watching. Bye.